Hey friends, welcome back to Spirit Made Me Do It. Today I want to talk to you about why I haven't been doing long form content in a couple of weeks. But first, I want to thank everyone so much for being here. I want to thank all my new subscribers as well. We're so happy to have you. This is such a beautiful community. I can't even express how grateful I am for all of you. Thank you all so much. But let's talk about this. I have not been doing long form content for a couple of weeks, and the reason is I have been through it. I have been through an awful lot these past few weeks. It's been painful, it's been frightening, it's been challenging in every possible way imaginable. And I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm doing this to show you that my life is not perfect. And that even though I believe everything that I tell you, and I really do live everything that I tell you, and everything that that I tell you is based on experience. But there is still some times when we are being challenged. I mean, first of all, you have to have bad times or you won't fully appreciate the good times. We're here to experience things, and we're here to experience things to the fullest. It's just been one thing right after another. And I know we're all going through this now, and it makes sense that we're going through it now. The earth is in upheaval. We have all of these floods all over the world. We've had earthquakes, we've had tornadoes, we've had hurricanes. I mean, it's just been one thing after another. And all of those things bring fear to the people. Then you put on top of that we have war and we have this contentious election coming up. I mean, there's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of challenging energies that are rippling down to all of us. And it's causing a lot of upheaval in people's lives. And I understand that. I know that I am not any different from anybody else. But how I choose to deal with it is different from some people. And I'm telling you this because I want you to know that the things that I say to you, I fully believe. I have experienced these things. I am not telling you to handle things a certain way because I read it somewhere. I handle things a certain way because I may have read it somewhere, but I've lived it as well. I have taken the information and I work with it. Something unexpected that did come up, though, was I started really questioning who I was. I started really questioning what I am doing. I questioned my motives. I questioned everything. And while I was preparing for a reading last Friday, I had an existential crisis. I was preparing as I always do for my readings. About an hour before I'm about to do a reading, I listen to music and I get inspiration from the music. I get hints from the music about what's going on in this person's life by how it makes me feel or the time period or whatever. That's one of the ways that spirit communicates with me. And while I was doing this, while I was listening to my music, I suddenly felt as though I had no idea of who I am. I'm not saying I had amnesia, it wasn't anything like that, but I suddenly had no clue who I was. And I don't even really know how to explain that, other than I questioned absolutely everything. I just had no sense of being, is really what it was. So I was terrified. I went into that fear mode again. And then I was like, okay, if somebody else was experiencing this, what would I tell them to do? I would step outside of the emotion and I would look at the facts. Okay, what do I know about myself right this moment? And immediately I heard love. We are all love. That is our base because we are all parts of God. And God is love or source or however you look at that. And I've always known that I am of love. I always have known that I am love as well. The moment I heard the word God, I knew what God was. I absolutely knew. And I've always lived a life of love. I haven't always expressed that part of myself due to, all sorts of different reasons when you're growing up and going through stuff and how you handle things when you're young and you don't understand. And I did not like the person that I was, but I like who I am now. But I didn't, I'm a bit embarrassed at who I was at certain points in my life, as we all are, I'm sure. But once I got that determination, once I felt that, okay, I am love, I know that. And then I thought, I don't need to know anything else. Source wants me to experience this for whatever reason, and I am experiencing this loss of self right now. And I trust spirit will get me through it. And I am just going to trust and relax. And that's exactly what I did. I relaxed into it and I was fine. And then I had one of the best readings I've ever had. It was really, really great. It really hit a lot of things with the person that I was reading, who was absolutely wonderful. And I thank her because she helped me as well. But this is my point of all of this. I'm not trying to. I literally could not deal with making videos. That's where I was mentally, and I'm not trying to make up excuses for that. I'm trying to show you, and I've been saying this from the beginning, that this year is loaded with possibilities. It is pregnant with possibilities, but it's also a time to go with the flow, and it's also a time to trust. But what I came to understand is this is a time for decision. And I've seen that in the cards. Everybody has to make a decision, have to make a decision. It became very, very clear to me that the decision is either to trust in spirit or not. Go with the love or go with the fear. This is where we are right now. This is the decision that we need to make right now. You either go whole hog and trust, or you go whole hog into the fear. Fear is a scary place, obviously. I mean, fear, right? But fear's not even real if you think about it, because you're putting an emotion onto a negative emotion onto something that may or may not even happen, right? Why would you waste your time doing that? Don't waste your time doing that. But it's not even about wasting time. It's about this decision. Are you going to trust and trust spirit and trust in the love and grow in the love and keep spreading the love at a time when people really, really need us to spread the love? This is a time where we need to be loving and compassionate and giving and all of those beautiful things that we are, even if we are going through a time of fear ourselves. This is the choice. I know you guys are all going to choose the love. We're already in it, right? But if we can be better examples of love, we can get other people into the love as well. And then we'll get through this mess that much quicker. So go out there and love on everybody. But my point here is now is the time to decide. Decide to be the love. Decide to live that life of love. Decide to trust spirit and relax into whatever it is that's unfolding before you, because spirit has you. Spirit has your back. The universe is not trying to work against you. And the quicker you realize that and just recognize that these moments that are difficult, they're just waterfall moments. It's just the universe taking the path of least resistance to get us onto the right track. But the path of least resistance, and you've heard me say that in many videos, but for those that are just joining, when I talk about the path of least resistance, I want you to think about snow melting at the top of the mountain. The water has to get to the river, right? So what happens? It goes down the mountain. It takes the path of least resistance. It goes down the mountain. It goes around the trees. It goes over the rocks. And sometimes that path of least resistance takes you over a waterfall. What happens when you go over the waterfall? The water is churning underneath. There's all sorts of things that are going on. There's emotions. There's all sorts of things that are going on until it spits you out into the good stuff. And that's what I'm recognizing too. This has been a huge waterfall moment for me. And now I've kind of been spit out, I believe, and I am just relaxing into it. I'm going with the flow and seeing where it takes me. And I hope that you choose to do the same. And I hope that you choose to recognize the truth in what I say, what John of New says, what Kim Carey of Intuitive View says. It's all about the love. It really is all about the love. And now is the time to make the decision whether or not you're going to trust spirit. And I know that's a scary step. That trust, when you're afraid to trust, it's because you don't want to be made a fool of. You don't want to look foolish. And that fear of looking foolish is the only thing that's keeping you from a more blissful life, a happier life, an easier life. Full of. We've been made a fool of all of our lives. At some point in our lives, we have all felt foolish. Try one more time. Let go of any fear. Let go of the concern about how you're going to look. That's the last bit of ego. That is the last bit of ego. Once you can let go of that, it's a smoother sail. Again, we all go through these things. We all go through these really challenging times. You go through it a lot easier when you trust spirit and you go with the flow. Make the decision to be love. Make the decision to love on others and make the world the place that you want to live in by being loving and kind and caring and helpful. It's a beautiful way to live. It really is. I love you guys. I love you all. And I thank you so much for being here. Take care.